Today is day 0 of Miles of Mayhem, which I'm taking that on. That's what we built it for. So, if you don't know what Miles of Mayhem is, it is basically Canada's version of Drag Week. Monday through Friday, we start in Saskatoon, then Edmonton, then Rimbey, then Medicine Hat, then back to Saskatoon for Friday. And hopefully this thing holds together. I have been driving it all week to shake it down and everything, but as I'm about to load in the tires for the track, I'll show you what I bought. So this is what we're going to run on the front. Those are Gramlite 57 DRs, or basically the budget TE37s. They're 15 by 8, and they are wrapped in a 235 65 15 Hoosier DR2, which is a drag radial. All right, so the tires fit perfectly in the back seat. We got the nitrous bottle in behind them. Yeah, there's the nitrous bottle. And we got all our tools, everything we might possibly need here. All right, guys, I haven't really showed you how this car runs, so I guess we'll use the trip down to Saskatoon for Miles of Mayhem, and we'll just do a bit of it as a first drive. I've been driving it. The short throw shift worked real good. That's pretty good. Just let the AFR warm up there, so I guess we'll fire it up. Let it figure its stuff out. Everything's good. I think my fuel pump might be going, so we'll have to be real careful about fuel pressures. Oil pressure is beautiful. Oil temperature isn't anywhere yet. Alright, AFR is a little over 15. I probably have to calibrate that thing, or calibrate it again. Alright, so I'm gonna had some breakfast and then get back to you once I get on the highway. Cruise control does work. I'm gonna use it. Alright, sorry for the shaky video. It's a bumpy road. But here we are. We're cruising down the highway. Temp is good. Speed is good. Actually, I'm going about 10K slower than I need to be. Fuel pressure is at 40. That's still, you know, 2.5 pounds less than I'd like to see, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll try adjusting that fuel pressure regulator when we get to the track. Oil pressure is great. Temp is coming up. AFR is hanging around 14.7-ish. Nitrous pressure. Tank's not open, so there's no pressure in the system. So we're good to go there. Car seems to be happy, healthy, running fine, responsive. I think we're good to go. All right, guys, we made it. It's a little less smoky here, but still really smoky. Car performed awesome on the highway. Just couldn't ask for anything better. So here we are. We are shaky camera syndrome going on. There it is, SIR, Saskatchewan International Raceway. There's a pile of people here. So I'm gonna get in, figure out where I gotta go, where I get teched, and I'll get back with you when we're in the pits. All right, guys, we made it here. We got the front tires on. Just cooling her off. Made my very first test hit. Did it naturally aspirated, didn't spray nothing. So, and embarrassingly enough, I stalled it off the line, so 0.79 reaction, not bad. 7.3 to the 60 foot is terrible, probably because I stalled it and had to restart the car. Those tires grabbed. They dead hooked, and yeah, just killed the motor. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to leave with that clutch. So that's what today's for. And then we got a 12.6 to the 330 and a 16.7. Yeah, that's terrible. But hey, we've done one now, so I'm gonna keep plugging away at it, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm back in my hotel room now, and the rest of the day was pretty uneventful. I made 3 more passes, so I did a total of 4 today. The first 2 were naturally aspirated, so the first one I already showed you was a terrible 16. This one, by not stalling the car, I shaved 3 seconds, so that's good, but it still sucks. So then I decided to spray it. The guy that was next to me was also running spray, so he helped me look at my spark plugs, and we ran 2 shots on a 35, and he looked at them and he's like, that looks healthy and safe. So maybe we'll step it up and throw a 55 at it, but the first one, I got it down to a 12.3, and then the second one I was the only one in the lane, so I got a 12.5. So my first nitrous pass was actually better than this. The problem I'm having is getting the car to leave the line half decently. If you look at all of them, my reaction time there was terrible. I do have some good ones. There's a 998 reaction time, which for your third or fourth ever pass, that's not bad. But 373 to the 60 foot and 871 to the 330, that's slow as, like, it leaves the hole like a fucking dog. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to drive this car that I have built. But I kind of figured that'd be the way it would go. There's gonna be some learning curves, and we're just gonna have to test, and practice. So, but 4 passes in today, and I think I'm pretty happy with how it all went. I'm happy it's still alive. It feels fine, and when I hit the nitrous, it feels good. I'm really sorry I can't film most of that. I can't hold the camera while I'm making a pass. There's just too much going on in the car, and there's nowhere in the car to really mount my phone, and it's the only camera I'm using. I stopped using the little GoPro because the picture was just terrible compared to my phone. So I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get like at least an in-car one, but there's not much I can do to try to actually get footage of these passes, and that really sucks for this kind of video, but it might be what it is. You'll just have to imagine a car going very slow, because this is 8th mile. We're only doing 8th mile. So there I finished at 8th mile at 66 mile an hour. 66 mile an hour. 56 mile an hour. So yeah, it's not rolling. It's not going. Although my mile an hour did go up on the nitrous passes. That added about 10 mile an hour out the back. Yeah, because this one's my second hit here, and that's a 56 mile an hour at the stripe. That's a 66, and the other one's a 66 as well. 66.64, 66.58. So the nitrous helped a mile an hour. It's just I can't get the car to leave worth a shit. So I'm gonna have to work on that. But given I'm still solo, it's probably just gonna be one and done tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and same with Friday. And then once I get the car back home, and I'm closer to home and less scared of completely annihilating it, and then having to figure out how to get it home, I'll just test closer to home. And yeah, so that ends day 0, the tech/test and tune of Miles of Mayhem 2024. So I guess we'll jump over to tomorrow morning. There we are. We're here again. It's cloudy and still smoky. So wonderful, but here we are. There's the SIR sign again. So let's get in, get the tires on, get the plugs swapped, and get to the driver's meeting in half an hour, and then hopefully figure out a way to warm up my bottle, because it's probably a little cold. It's only 18 out right now, so unlike yesterday where the temperature of the car just warmed the bottle up perfectly for me, I don't know if I'm gonna get that this morning. So, but there's all the guys that trailered their shit here. But I'm gonna get in, get parked. There we are, all tires put on. Still gotta change the plugs, but I'm still letting it cool down. I almost overheated it going through the pits. Wasn't paying attention and didn't hit the AC button. AC doesn't work, but it still kicks on the fan under the hood, which I think I might wire to a switch sometime this week so I can just turn it on when the car's off. But maybe later today if I get to Edmonton at a decent time. So there we are, just letting that cool down before we pull plugs and ready for a driver's meeting. Alright, so I got the plugs changed, but the bottle pressure was a little low, so I decided I'm just gonna crank the heat, put it under the floor, and use the engine's heater as a bottle heater. hopefully this works. Okay, so I made that first pass, and worst pass ever, worse than yesterday's naturally aspirated pass. Almost a 22nd eighth mile, 15 there, 10 to the 60 foot, 1.24 reaction. I stalled it, it bogged, it was unhappy at the line. So I went and talked to a couple of buddies of mine that showed up, and he just helped me read my plugs or whatever, and he's saying I should throw in my 75 shot. I'm thinking I'm gonna throw in the 55 just to get a feel for it, see how it likes it. So I'm gonna jet for 55 and take it up and see if I can't rip it again. Let it cool down a bit, but then we'll go up and we'll rip it again. And if that time is 12 or less, because I'm gonna leave real soft, if it's 12 or less, then I think we'll hit the road. All right, so we made a second pass, and much better than the last one. The 55 shot, you feel it a lot more. It's pretty good, but AFR was good. Timing marks were good. It handled the 55 shot without a problem, so we might jet it up to 75 tomorrow. We'll see. But I handed in that slip, so we've got our day one complete. We are going to leave International Raceway, and we're going to go to the Gold Horse Casino in Lloydminster. And then we're going to take a picture of our car in front of said casino. And then we're going to carry on to our hotels in Nisku, which is just south of Edmonton. But that's actually where the track is, because the track is right behind Edmonton International Airport. So we're heading off. It's 2 now. We got about 600K to go, so that's probably about 6 hours. So we should be there by 8 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock tonight. All right, stopped at Performance Plus in Saskatoon to get the nitrous filled, and Buddy Joe is leaking pretty bad there. So it's the converter. He's done. He's out for the week. Made one pass, so he's out. So that sucks for him, but we're gonna carry on. I'm gonna make miles up to Lloydminster. So we'll see you then. All right, just pulling into the checkpoint. There it is right there. And there's a pile of Mayhemers already there. Okay, back in a familiar setting. We got the car in the backyard. Now, what I want to do on this brief pit stop at home is I want to wire the fan to a switch so that I can run the fan when the engine isn't running, so that it can help you, that fan can cool the motor between passes, so that I can increase my cool down time, because I was noticing that I was waiting a little longer than I wanted to, and I really wished I could have been blowing air at the engine with the hood open to cool the motor down, because these things cool down real quick. So that's kind of what I want to do is, and I noticed this morning pulling into the pits that when I parked, I wasn't paying attention, that fuel temp gauge was up around 3/4, which means the computer wasn't turning on the fan. So that being said, I think I want to control that so I can keep the temp where I want the temp. Or when I'm in the staging lanes, I also noticed that it likes to, if I'm idling, you know, I think I'll shut it off from now on, but at least I can, I also noticed that during a nitrous pass too, the motor gets kind of hot, like when I'm done. I'll leave at 1/4 on the gauge, and by the time I'm turning into the comeback lane, she's at 1/2. So nitrous passes are heating it up quick. So if I can run the fan while I'm going down the track, that might help keep temperatures at bay. So while we're here, I'm gonna quickly wire that in, and I believe I put my tires on the wrong side, and I drove all the way home with these directional tires going the wrong way. They absolutely are. There's the arrow. So I'm gonna swap those around too. They're crap tires anyway, so I'm not really too concerned if I wrecked them. They're pretty well already wrecked anyway. So I wired in a switch, and now when you flip it, and the car is off, the underhood fan starts running. So now it's gonna blow nice cold air at the engine when the engine is off. And that should help me cool things down faster between passes. Also, this thing is spraying a little bit of oil, so if you see anything greasy or whatever, there's no major problems. It's just when you make a pass or drive, this filter kind of does let some oil particles out, They kind of spatter. That's what this little bit of light spattering is. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, but that's what it is that. So I might get some kind of foam thing to go over it to try to catch that, or I might just run that to a catch can. But anywho, that's where we're at now. I'm gonna go inside and eat some food because I haven't eaten yet today, and we'll get on the road for day 2 in the morning, and we'll just basically get up like a work day at 7 a.m. and we'll get to the track by 10:30 ish.